What up, world? You tuned in. South Arkansas Trio Talk. Who messing with me tonight? Got my homie, brother coming up. Renz Tee, man. Shit, we jump into the conversation, man. Try to get more people on. Like I say, man, you want to ask any questions out there, put them on the screen out there. You know what I'm saying? You want to be in tune with what's going on, you know what I'm saying, in the world out there. Shit, tune in, man. Like I say, man, prayers to the West Coast out there. The one that's, you know what I'm saying, going through tragedies, going through, you know what I'm saying, losing everything, relocating out there. Prayers, you know what I'm saying, prayers to the ones grieving out there. Like I said, man, we gotta know what's said in the world these days, where we going as a nation out there. Like I say, man, Trump will be in the 20th. You gotta ask yourself, you know what I'm saying, is it Trump fault or what's already in office now? Nothing wasn't getting done. What we gonna be with that out there? Is we gonna be putting it on Trump out there, and he ain't been in office yet? Do you blame the 4 years on the people that was already in office, or that Senate president back to Obama? Was anything getting done? Is any people gonna be getting any pardons, or what we looking at for 2025 on how we running the year off out there? Like I say, man, you wanna get in the conversation, tune in, man. We just keeping it real as we go, you know what I'm saying, for the year 2025, man. Keeping positive energy, moving in God's love. Like I say, man, you want to be involved with the conversation, man. It's easy to get involved, man. You ain't got to try to, you know what I'm saying, be politically correct. You know what I'm saying? We all, you know what I'm saying, serve one God. I don't matter if you're Christian, Islam, you know what I'm saying, Buddhist, you know what I'm saying, whether you ancestor spirits, we serve one God, man. But got my homie coming through, Renz Tee, man. You know what I'm saying? Put some good game down, man. I'm gonna have to put it on uh, do not disturb, you know what I'm saying, so we can get it started out here, man. But I'm ready now. I'm gonna let them come on in here, man. And like I say, man, I'm gonna try to get more people in if I can, man. Like I say, man, just answer them properly. You know what I'm saying? Just an hour, man. It go by so fast, man. Shit, Renz Tee, man. What's up, man?
Hello.
Not much. Been all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Busy night, busy night. You know, my Wednesdays are pretty busy, but I always make time for this one right here, brother. Definitely make time for this.
That's what's up, man. Uh, man, we start off, man. Prayers to New Orleans out there. Any update? Any, you know what I'm saying? What you want to say for the city out there? We're looking forward to 2025 Super Bowl out there.
Shoot, man, for this Super Bowl, you know, I haven't really been tapping into, everything that's going on. I hear things about the situation with is it Kendrick Lamar? Who's supposed to be in the Super Bowl performing this year? I know it's a big thing about Lil Wayne and someone else that's supposed to have been performing. Do you know who that is?
I think it was Kendrick Lamar. He was a headliner. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's still supposed to, but I was thinking about the homage to Lil Wayne. But you know, they just had the fest of Hot Boys getting the Hot Boys reunion out there, and I felt like that was big for the city out there. But I think Lil Wayne should go to him out there for the city out there, putting on out there. What you think about home teams? Sometimes they don't show love to the people that, you know what I'm saying, come from there or something. Because, you know, New Orleans is a big city and it's a historic city out there. What can you say about homage sometimes? We don't pay it to the right people sometimes.
I'm coming from New Orleans, man. We give credit where credit is due. For Lil Wayne, I mean, Lil Wayne get much respect in New Orleans, and all the local rappers, they can always come home. You know what I'm saying? You know how some people say they got to move away from home you know, when certain funds come into play, because they'll get taken in their own neighborhoods. That's not New Orleans. That's not the creed of New Orleans, man. If you real, then you're gonna always be real, and that's all they want you to represent. We love when someone has made it outside, you know, of our natural habitat, shall I say? I mean, we praise that, and that's what put New Orleans on to begin with. You know what I'm saying? When somebody make it, we all make it. You know what I'm saying? So, the homage was gonna go regardless. You know, for Lil Wayne coming down, and it ain't just Lil Wayne; it's many of them. You know, the whole Cash Money clique, crew. You know, they all played a part. It ain't just Lil Wayne. So, be it if it was Super Bowl or not, people was gonna recognize that regardless. You know, when we could talk about Super Bowl, we talking things even though it's in New Orleans this year. The truth of the matter is, New Orleans ain't the only thing that is representing. You know, it's representing the whole nation, the whole USA. When we talk about Super Bowl, as a matter of fact, it represents the whole world. You know, everybody's walking from, not even just in America. You know, that there's people watching and it's big money. And at the end of the day, they're gonna go with the one that's making the most money, be it Lil Wayne or not. You know, so at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about the money factor. It ain't got nothing to do with Lil Wayne. You know, that's just something that we wanted, you know, that we feel is deserved, and it is deserved. But at the end of the day, this is the money game.
That's what's up. I was speaking on that, you know, like a lot of good foods come from New Orleans out there, for there's all the spices out there. And they say spice is good for you these days. You know, a lot of Mexicans, they eat spices a lot, and they say it's healthy for you. And what can you say about the Louisiana food? Is it better? Do we eat better food with spices out there? Because, you know, a lot of people, they eat spicy food, but then some people say it give them high blood pressure out there. What can you say about spicy foods?
Okay, all right. See, when we talk this New Orleans things, it's a misconception. A lot of people think when we be speaking, when we talk Cajun, that means spicy. Cajun ain't got nothing to do with spicy. Cajun has to do with well seasoned. You know what I'm saying? Cajun has to do with flavor. You know, it's not about the spicy. Now there's some spicy dishes. There's some things that got a little sting to it, but it ain't necessarily about the hotness. It's about the flavor within. You know, aromas, things of that sort. The mixes of the culture, be it French and Portuguese. You know, with a little bit of Caribbean in there. You know, so it's more so, as I said, it's more about the flavor of the thing and not the spice. Some people think the hotter the better. No, that's not Cajun. That's just simply killing yourself.
Yeah, man, we gonna get into it, man. I had some questions I was gonna throw out there and see what you can answer. You can give me a better opinion of yours out there, what you think. Our first one is I will go just ask you a question because I seen this trend on Facebook today, but they was asking, is the Bible coded out there? And is the Bible coded to fool the masses out there? And examples is Matthew chapter 13, verse 10 to 14. That's the King James Version. And then also in Proverbs, I think chapter 15 to the 7 through the 11 verse on the King James Version. What can you say about the Bible being coded? You know what I'm saying? Is it, you know what I'm saying, out there taught to fool the masses out there because, you know, some people get their own interpretation to fit their God or whatever. What can you say about that sometime, the Bible being coded?
All right. Do you have a Bible in front of you to read those particular scriptures? Because I'm about the whole passage, not just a verse. A verse, you can make it into what you want to. So I can relate that verse to the passage. You got that at hand?
No, I can look it up right quick. I got one in my hand. You said it's directed into Matthew 13, chapter 10 to 14 verse. Okay. I was thinking about that too, because sometimes they be in plural, adjective, nouns, and adjectives and stuff like that. Matthew.
That's the first. That's the first book in the New Testament.
Okay. You know me, I'm dipping through her and stuff. I was trying to understand. I was trying to read the comments as I went, but I wanted to get a better understanding. Politically correct understanding anyway. Everybody had they own truth to it. We was trying to see what the truth was to it. It said, and we said, behold, I'm gonna go back to the I'm gonna go into the whole thing. I'm just gonna read from 10 to 14.
All right.
And shit. It said, behold, I send you out of sheep in the midst of the wolves. Therefore, be wise as the serpent and the harmless as doves. And uh, from 14, let me see. See, you got all kind of meanings right there. I got the big old Bible. Let's go read them all out. I'm gonna go to 14. Whoever shall not receive you, not hear your words when you depart out of the house of the city, shake off the dust of your feet.
Okay. We good. All right. For me, as I'm reading the scripture, based on what was going on at the time, we're looking at Jesus. I'm paraphrasing right now. I do that. We're looking at Jesus talking to his disciples as they, going forth and putting forth word and doing miracles and removing demons and things and healing people, things of that sort. And he's basically preparing them. Basically, also, he's preparing them for what he's already been through. The truth of the matter is, everybody's not going to accept the gospel. Everybody's not going to accept Christ. That's a given, because that's happening today. And it's not for us to go back and forth. And I'm not trying to make you take something or force something upon you. The gospel is for somebody who's searching, searching for purpose and going back to concepts and principles. The author was just trying to say, basically, in that story or in that saying, that it's not for us to sit there and force someone to believe as we believe. We're offering, as Christians, we're offering a way, and if you don't accept it, dust it off. It ain't no hard feelings. We gave you that option. You know what I'm saying? We gave you an option. You choose not to take my hand, fine. It ain't no hard feelings. If you think differently than I do, hey, it ain't no hard feelings. And that is following Christ. That's what Christ was saying. And us, as supposed to be Christians, that should be the right standing. That should be the right mannerism. But as I know, that all Christians don't stand on Christ's mannerism, or character of God thereof. So that's one point. And then two, okay, that has to go with the dust your feet off part. That was another part that you said in there concerning I forgot the passage. That's why I go by the whole thing. You mentioned dust your feet off. What's the other part?
The I think it was talking about the Well, I was getting up out of it, more of the people have, whoever shall not receive you or hear your words. Basically, like, uh, only two people, like, they wasn't, like, considering that Jesus was having, like, you know what I'm saying? He only knew the answers. God only knew the answers. Didn't nobody believe in him. Everybody seen this miracle that was happening sometime. And he said, I can't believe that you believe this. Like Jesus they couldn't believe Jesus believed what he believed, the disciples or the people. And they were asking him, and he was asking him, he believed more faith, he could see more of what God trying to show him as much as Jesus, he's showing Jesus to show the people. But it was like God can show him the same thing. I was reading, behold, of that I sent you a sheep in the midst of the wolves.
Okay, that was it. That was the point. Go ahead.
That's what I was, therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Okay.
I was trying to get a meaning to that.
Okay. From the author's perspective, which is Jesus at this particular time, keep in mind that he spoke in parables, meaning that he was speaking in a worldly term that people could relate to with a spiritual meaning, right? When we talk, so what the author is trying to get to in this particular scripture is that we need to know both sides. We need to know, it's just like warfare. You need to study your enemy, but you don't act as your enemy. You counteract your enemy with the character of God. So in order to counteract it, you have to study to show yourself approved. I mean, you have to study God's character, and that character is by the way of Christ, based on the Bible. You know, we're only talking the Bible. So in the Bible, Jesus is showing the true character of God. That's what he came to do, to show man on earth, you know, in something that they can actually see, something that is what they call the word, well, basically something that they can see, that they can touch, something that's tangible, and they can see how it's supposed to be, as opposed to how they were doing things in their own mindset. You had people that was leading sheep astray. You know, we had people that was dressed as sheep, and I'm talking about your priest of that time and things of that sort, but they was truly wolves. You know what I'm saying? So in order to know what their true character is, if it's a sheep or a wolf, first of all, you got to know how sheep is coming. You got to know the character of the sheep. You know sheep are meek. You know sheep are smart. You know they're very cautious. So we got to look at the character of the sheep, and that's what Jesus was talking about. Look at the character of the thing that you can relate to. Everybody dealt with sheep at that time. Everybody knew what wolves were at that time. They knew the character of a wolf. They knew the character of a sheep. All right. But what they're saying is, you act as the sheep do, but know what the wolf do. You know, just don't be the wolf. That's all. That's all that is saying right there. And he's just using terminology that they knew of in that day, you know, to make it relatable. So today, we have, as I said, I'll make it relatable to today. The church has a bad name. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
As a whole, the church has a bad name, but here's the hit. It's only bad because we're ignorant to what the true character of God is. And if we stood on the true character of God, then these things are supposed to be exposed as followers of Christ. Not as Christians, but as followers of Christ. So if you follow what that passage that Christ just put out there, you should be able to put yourself in a position to know the difference. Now, you don't act as it does, or you don't retaliate in the way of that, but you expose it by showing the true nature of God. You expose it by showing the way of Christ. You expose it by being the same example that Christ is. And I'm going to even take it a step further. Even if you don't believe in Christ, even if you don't believe in what Christ is, or if he's real or anything like that, it's the concept of what he's saying that we should take in and practice, and that's following him. And if you take that concept in, then you following the way of, not necessarily the man, but the way. All right. And this is how we counteract things. This is how we rebuild the church. This is how we should rebuild our brothers and our sisters. This is the way that we should counter the enemy. You don't do the same as the enemy. You counter the enemy with love, which exposes what the true enemy is. You know what I'm saying? When you coming in love, you expose the other. You shine light on the other person. But if you're doing the same thing as them, then nobody don't know who's the real and who ain't. Y'all both doing the same doggone thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That helped you out.
I like the way you broke that down too. I was just thinking about that because I had a question to go with that too. And like I said, we've been, like you saying, we've been moving against each other so long. How can we try to move with each other for a change? Right. And I salute that. And while we on that question on moving in love and moving in the way out there, and I was thinking about, you know, saying the word cooning out there on how people look at us as following the manual out there and following the way and out there, and you know, this is not our religion out there. This the white man religion. How's we actually studying a religion that's not ours, that was gave to us by the white man, instead of looking at the way and the light and, you know, the Christ and the message out there. People look at it as, if you over here studying the word of Christian, you got to be cooning for the white people. As I'm going to say, I'm going to get to your language terms on showing how people look at Black Christians out there that study the manual out there and probably educated with the manual out there. And some people don't go that far in. They just look at, oh, that ain't our religion, or they some Pan-African stuff like Umar Johnson type stuff, trying to assassinate the Christian character sometime. I feel like it don't come with no color. It comes with love out there. So it shouldn't feel like a color or feel like it's somebody else's religion. What can you say about cooning these days, as they say, Black people that study the manual out there of Christianity, or what I'm going to say? I know you can break that down. You see, I gave it to you because people be want to know that studying religion out there and being Black, studying Christianity is that cooning, just studying the Christianity out there these days.
All right. If it's cooning, then I'll be that coon. Feel me?
Yeah.
If it's cooning, yeah. I'll be that coon, like I said, because it works for me and I follow it. But my question is to that one who's calling me a sellout or whatever the situation is, are you true to yours? You know,
yeah,
at the end of the day, at least I'm true to something and I'm willing to stand for it. And to each, but I know there's a lot of people who downplay the Bible, can't even tell you what their religion is, or what book they follow based on their religion. You know what I'm saying? Instead of downplaying the Bible, how about elevating your religion, whatever that may be? Where your book at? You know, don't use my book, the book that elevates me to get your point across about the religion that you so claim that you are. Bring out your book and tell me about your book. All right, that's what you do. That's how you elevate your religion. That's how you elevate your truths. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking any other religion, but I come to find out that people, just like Christians, claim to be something that they don't even truly follow themselves. I mentioned that last time. So, you know, when you truly following yours, then hopefully it brings you closer to Christ. But you can't tell me about mine if you ain't following yours. Because trust me, I study them all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, I just had to put that out there because that's something we be want to know is the Black race, and people be, you know what I'm saying, as, you know what I'm saying, losing faith sometime of what they believe on this internet and what they believe from these people that's not from, you know what I'm saying, or even study Christian lifestyle or whatever, or even have the faith of a real Christian out there. What can you say about mustard seed faith and faith out there, because you said something about if you don't have it, you never had it at all. If you lose it out there, you know what I'm saying? What can you say about that? Breaking it down of faith, keeping faith and holding on to faith if you got it, because if you got it, you should never lose it. What can you say about faith? Sometimes
I mean,
we've had misconceptions.
okay. Um, I'll use myself as an example, just to clarify a bit more on that. There's times when 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 I have doubts, you know what I'm saying? When you get in certain situations, I doubt certain things. Um, and yet I still stand. And the thing that keeps me standing is when I reflect on when I reflect back on things that happened that did build my faith to begin with. In other words, I got something to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? That reconfirms what I already know. You know what I'm saying? And and that's how I see faith. When you truly have faith, that you have already established an understanding, which is why I say, okay, now with this understanding, true understanding by definition, by biblical definition, is doing. Understanding is an action word. Because when you truly understand, you automatically do it because you have faith in it. Feel what I'm saying? And once you understand something, nobody can, if you truly understand it, nobody can take that away from you. See what I'm saying? That's why I say if you truly understand, you're going to automatically follow. If you truly understand the Bible, you don't have a choice but to follow. You're not going to fall back. Why? Because you have an understanding that surpasses the norm. You have an understanding that's so divine to where the world can't touch you. The world can't shake you in that area. You have an understanding that most people don't have because it's a mystery to people. God has given you an understanding of something or let you in on an enlightenment that nobody can take away from you because you truly understand it and you're willing to go through whatever you need to go through because you've experienced it. So there is no going back. Nobody can't sway you on something that you have seen or something that didn't happen to you. If you told me that you almost got ate by a lion, but when the lion opened his mouth, he couldn't close it, which gave you enough time to run away. And somebody said, "Man, you're a lie." A lion don't act that way, or lions are carnivores. His by nature, his jaw must have got locked. That's the only way that happened. That wasn't nothing divine, and that it has to be a reason for it. And we're trying to find facts that compensate why the lion didn't close his mouth to bite you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it could have been facts, or it could have been an act of God. It could have been a miracle. You know what I'm saying? But based on that situation, you escaped. You experienced it. So only you know the truth, right? And nobody can favor you on that truth because it was your experience. And that's how I say about faith. Nobody can't change it because you experienced it and you have faith in it because it happened to you.
Yeah.
If you say it's a miracle, then it's a miracle. And nobody ain't gonna be able to change your mind about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how this thing about understanding God works. I read something the other day, it was a quote somewhere. Somebody mentioned something about to the point that if it ain't factual, then it's spiritual, meaning that if it can't be explained in science or by math, then it's a coincidence that just nobody haven't realized how to explain it yet. That's what we call faith. That's what we call spirituality. You know, if it can't be explained by nature, then we just haven't found the explanation yet through math and science, meaning facts. I have to disagree with that because there are some things that go against nature that actually happen called phenomenons that no one has the answer to. And that's factual. Feel what I'm saying? And that's a fact. There are some things that we have yet to find answers to. So phenomenons actually exist. So therefore, that means there's something greater than our own intellect that can't be explained. Those are miracles. Those are things of God. Those are things of something that's higher than our intellect that we cannot answer outside of nature. So there's a statement there that even though it sounded good, it's a fact that there are things that can't be answered, either through science or through mathematics. You know, so that's just something that I had to put out there because I saw that. Like I said, a lot of things sound good. Yeah, it makes sense and it caters to our senses, but is it truth?
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, speaking on that, science and you know what I'm saying, faith and what we was talking about on the science part, do you think nine protons, electrons, and neutrons out there, do that shape the black woman out there, or like you said, explaining the concept of woman can create, you know what I'm saying, but they can't be God, a man, God is a woman, God is a man. We basically, what was your perception on that opinion? But you had broke it down, and I was just looking at the science that went with that, nine electrons, protons, and neutrons out there. What can you say about astronomy and that logic right there? A God is a woman, a God is a man. Uh, Put that with the astronomy of science, because some people don't know how to break that down sometimes with the science that go with that right there. Of
It's it's good. It's good. It's called logic, man. It's logic. We can make anything relatable. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, us as man or mankind, we can make all things relatable. Okay. Yeah, there's 9 planets, so therefore 9 months for birth or whatever the situation is. I didn't heard it all because I did watch the movie last night. By the way, big
yeah,
ups.
yeah,
For the third time. Um, as I said, there are things that can be explained and rationalized through man, and that's just happened to be one of them. But there's also things that can't,
yeah,
and that's where God comes into play. Yeah, that can be rationalized. That can have some truth in it, and it does stand. It makes sense to me. But watch this. Based on my Bible, based on my word, woman did not create. Neither did man. Man and woman was created. All right. So and the only creation that there was is Adam and Eve. Everything else was reproduced. Creation is the first, not the second, third, the fourth, the fifth, or the sixth. So woman did not create. All right. Man did not create. God created. We just reproduced what was already created. All right. Now, for as woman being God being a woman, God can be whoever you want him to be. God is the great I am, and he's omnipresent. God can do all things. So who am I to limit God to being a man or a woman? You know what I'm saying? So in my eyesight, he's in the reflection of me. So therefore, I'm going to say he's a man. When I speak to him, I think somebody mentioned about a voice. The only voice that we hear is our own voice, because he speaks to you in your own language, in your own way, a voice that you can recognize. He's going to come to you in that manner, but in your conscience. But the truth of the matter is, when you're thinking, you're not hearing. You're assuming that it's in your voice because you can't hear it verbally. It's not outspoken, it's inspoken. So how can you hear your own voice unless you let it out? Think about
yeah,
it. I mean, just keeping it. How can you say God is only when you're praying? The only voice you hear is yourself. I pray without even moving my mouth.
yeah,
I'm answered without removing my mouth. So make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't answer myself in my own tone. It's an inner answer.
Yeah.
So I'm not hearing my own voice, but I'm hearing at the end of the day. Come on with it. What you got?
Hey, I felt that. I felt that. We'll go another question out there. We gonna have to ask. You know, said, what do you think about these days of discipline? Like we brought that up last time about how discipline our kids out there based upon when we couldn't whoop our kids no more, they can call the child protective service on. Now some of them out of hand though, but them getting that leverage of they can't get whoopers no more and all that. Do you think that took a demonic meaning on our word out there of how our kids bad to this day? They don't listen, or they don't listen to their mamas, or what can you say? Because we have to have that balance sometime, a decent whooping, a switch whooping, or you know what I'm saying, a belt whooping or something, or a powder or something. But do you think that disciplining our kids these days is the main objective of why kids out of hand these days? What can you say about taking the whooping out the households? We just go speak on some opinionated stuff because this is something deep that we go into a lot. Kids don't get whoopings and kids don't be disciplined right.
It goes back to the manuscript.
Yeah.
We have removed God out of every. We're continuously removing God out of the way and making ourselves gods. That's why I don't
Yeah.
like the word that I am a God. That means that I follow no rules. I make my rules as I go. When you're your own. And that's what has happened. We have removed the overseer or the Godhead that's above us, that gave us a guideline and a manuscript to follow, not to enslave you, but to protect you.
Yeah.
The book, when you go against it, it's not going to stop you. And this is what Jesus said. I'm going to tell you, but if they don't want to accept it, wipe your feet off. You gave them the option. The book is right here for you to follow. You got a manuscript that came before you that lays out guidelines to make you prosper. Not only prosper in this world, but prosper in the spiritual world as well.
Yeah.
When you read it, it has yet to fail me. That's what I keep saying. So it manifests itself. It becomes factual because when you actually do it and you see the results of it, then that makes it a fact.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have experienced it, so it's factual that it works for the individual who actually uses it. All right. But if you never used it or you use part thereof, then no, it ain't real to you. All right.
Yeah.
And if you use it the right way, just like baking a cake, if you use the wrong ingredients or you tweak it a little bit, you wonder why it fold on you, why it flop. Because you didn't follow the manuscript. You didn't follow the true instructions. So how you expect to get the right results when you didn't follow the instructions the way that is laid out for you? You did it your own way. You added a little something, or you took this part out, but you expect it to work right every time. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You got to follow the instructions, right? And it's laid out before us. So it's not to enslave you. It's actually to protect you from yourself, from you being your own Godhead. We need guidance. We are sheep. See what I'm saying? So you either want to be in a sheep's position or you want to be in a wolf position. And when you're in a wolf position, you devour. And you devour others as you devour yourself. All
Yeah.
right. And that's all it is to it, man. The manuscript lays in front of us. So we just reaping what we sow. We did this. It says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Simple as that. You spare them. We've got to a point to where we, based on my generation, I got whoopings. You know what I'm saying? Even though I may have done things as I grew up, I always had a foundation to go back to. It was already
Yeah.
instilled within me. And a lot of us can say that. We might have didn't like it, but it worked for us. It gave us a sense of ethic, you know. We might not follow it, but we have the foundation. We have a choice. We was given that option. We've been exposed to it, as opposed to the generations after us that never had the option, that never been exposed to a certain ethic or a certain homely setting, dealing with the characters of God, or Christ for that matter. I know a lot of people say there was misconception or they was led wrong, but the foundation was set. See what I'm saying? How you know you was led wrong if you never had a foundation to begin with? How you know to read the Bible if nobody never told you the Bible? You know what I'm saying? And that's what we done got away from. We done got so far away from setting a foundation with our children, and following the manuscript, or even giving them that mustard seed, something to fall back on, to where now it's void, and we're suffering the consequences of our actions. When you remove God, then you set yourself up for failure. And the proof is in the pudding. We spared the rod. We done gave kids rights as adults, and it's backfiring on us now. They use it against you. All right. There's no more respect. Respect is out of the door. You know what I'm saying? There's no more fear for a child, because a child want to tell you what they think
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So if you're doing it as a kid, what you think you're gonna do as an adult?
Be hard headed
You're gonna be,
as hell.
hard headed. It's gonna be hard for you to work under somebody. You ain't gonna never have a boss, because you're gonna think that everything's supposed to go your way. You're gonna think that somebody owe you something, or you ain't gonna work at McDonald's because you think that's low, or I should be given something. See, they play it on both sides. But when you slap them, oh, I'm a juvenile, but you acting like an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they play it against you. You buck up against your elders, but you're 13 years old. If I punch you in your chest, you're gonna say, the first thing you're gonna do is call the police. I'm a juvenile, but you're doing grown folks' actions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's gonna take some people, me for one, who don't care about the law of the land. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take some people who are willing to stand for the principle of the matter in order to get things right. I'm not afraid to go to jail for my child. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my child gonna respect me at the end of the day. And if the law of man says you go to jail for putting your hands on a child, then he needs to stay a child. Feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just the way that I feel about it. That's my perspective. And it's going to take more people in order to turn this around, to make a child think twice about their actions when they step into grown folks' positions. We just have, these are the things that we need to vote on. These are the things that we need to be taken to our legislature. You know, these are the things that we need to bring awareness to, getting back to the original foundation of things. Now, some people use the intent the wrong way. Yeah, there's some people who may have abused children, but it was put in position in order to protect kids. I know,
Yeah.
I noticed when my kids were real young, when they was babies, 1 and 2 years old, I could just spank their butt one time, and without putting a bruise on them. It was just the force of my hand, that one lick that shook them.
Yeah.
I'll even use the word traumatized, but they would never forget it. See what I'm saying? They would never
Yeah.
forget it to where they don't want it again. You know what I'm saying? It was enough to instill in them to where I didn't have to do it again when they was 3. I didn't have to do it again when they was 4. I didn't have to do it again when they was 6, 8, 10. Why? Because it was already established when they was 1. You know what I'm saying? Now I
Yeah.
just have to give a look. See what I'm saying? Now I can be your friend because the foundation was already set. We got it backwards. We want to be the friend first and then try to chastise them as they get older. No, it's already in them. It's already in them.
Hey, speaking of that word friend these days, that a lot of parents try to be their kids' friends to relate to them. Same way with this internet out here. How you think that done came back to bite us in the ass as parents out there trying to be our kids' parent, they friend, and they parent at the same time? What's a up mode for that? Sometimes what's a down mode for that? Because sometimes it's good to be your kid's friend. They can tell you more, you trust them more. Then sometimes it pays not to be their friend because they can disrespect you or wait till your back turn, or you think so highly of them now they waiting your back turn. So what you learned from that being your kid's friend and actually being a parent?
I don't believe that you could ever be a friend to your child. You will all, as I just said, to your child, because it's going to always be your child. So that means that you always got to be their parent. No matter
Yeah,
the age, the timeline remains the same. As you're growing, they're growing, but they're still
yeah,
in a position. The timeline in between, the variable in between, still remains the same. So they're going to always be the kid, and you're going to always be the parent. It ain't no friend.
yeah,
Now, as an adult, you have more freedom. You have moved away from my nest. So you don't have to go by my rules, but I've set the foundation. See what I'm saying? You can speak to me
yeah,
as an adult. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna reply to you as a parent. I'm gonna always advise you as a parent. I'm never gonna be my children's friend because that puts us on
yeah,
the same level. We'll never be on the same level, and that has to be established. All right. And if it gets to a point, like my children, for example, my oldest child, I told her whatever she do in her life, we have open conversations. I told you you could be open with me. All right. I told you I might not like what you say, but I'm gonna still give you an answer that comes from love. All right. Despite of my likes, despite of my feelings, I want you to always be able to come to me. Does it mean it's gonna come with a consequence? Maybe, but I'm gonna give you an answer out of love. You know what I'm saying? The chastisement part is over with. I no longer have to spank you or put the rod on you because we've come to an understanding that you have a respect for me and I respect you as a child because scripture tells us to. We respect our children just like we want respect. We don't provoke our children. All right. Now on the friend level, I might be able to provoke my child. You know, me looking at my daughter's friends. You know, me being in the club with my daughter or with my son. You know, these different things. In their youth, we can't do those things, man. We got to make sure that it's established that we're on two different levels. I'm gonna always be your parent. All right, and don't get out of line. Come to me in a respectful manner. You could curse because you're an adult. If that's your choice. You know, I don't curse. See what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get on your level. I'm gonna always show you that way. All right, because that's what I represent. Um, I'm not gonna have a drink with you. You know what I'm saying? You do that with your friends. I'm not your friend. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that with my friends. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things. But the foundation has been set. Going back to my daughter's a prime example. She always talked to me about sex. My daughter been telling me since she was 13 years old that she been wanting to have sex. And I told her, well, wait till you're 18. That's all dad asks of you. She was open enough to discuss this with me because I was open enough to have that conversation. But I'm asking,
yeah,
even though you're telling me this is what you want, there's going to be more guys that come after this. You think you want this person right now. And if they really care about you, they'll wait. Or they're going to
yeah,
move. All right. But for me, can you do this for me? Wait until 18. My daughter had sex on her 18th birthday. And you want to know what she told me? 2 weeks later, she didn't want to talk to the dude that she been with for the last 2 years. 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
She thought it was gonna be. Feel what I'm saying? So the proof was in the pudding. Dad, you was right. You know, you was right. And now you're not pregnant at 13. You're not pregnant at 14. See what I'm saying? Because my daughter respect me enough to abide by my rule.
Yeah.
And I was open enough to respect what she was in her mindset. And I allowed her, I told her what her limitations were. You can speak to me, you can come to me. We could talk about anything. You can't curse. You know what I'm saying? You're not grown, you can't curse, but we could talk about anything. And I'm gonna respect where you is, and I'm gonna advise you on that thing, be it if I like it or not. That was the promise. That was the foundation that our relationship was set on. But I'm not your friend.
That's what's up. Hey, we gonna go 2 more in there because I wanted just like that word right there. We was looking at the friend. We was thinking about submissive these days and domestic violence out there because in the Bible it's the woman, the man of the household. Then you got the woman, and then you got the child. It's a submissive umbrella as the household's supposed to be under. And what can you say about submissivity days due to the domestic violence of men, feeling like they can beat on women for that control, or women not having a father in their life at a young age, that control? What can you say about today's of submissive ways of, even people go to the pastors or minister or whatever to get, guidance sometime of submissive roles out there. What can you say about the word submissive? Because everybody got their own concept these days, and all these women these days, they don't want to be told nothing. They don't want nobody telling them what to do, or they ain't being submissive like that based upon they ain't messed up about the old religion ways. They just choose to be the king of their castle or whatever. What can you say about the word submissive? Because a lot of people, they get misconception that they have their own understanding to that word. What can you say about that?
I don't want to claim nothing that don't want to be claimed.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want, if I gotta force it, then it wasn't mine to begin with. All right. These are just concepts that I stand on, principles that I stand on. I don't want nothing that I gotta make do. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want a relationship that don't come natural. I don't want to work hard in a relationship. There's just some things that are some people that just motivate you to want to do, and that be it for man or woman. There's somebody in this world for everybody that you're willing to submit to. All right. Just gotta find the reasoning behind it. Now for our men that force women to be submissive, they got to keep in mind when we're talking about submission, there's a certain way that scripture tells us that there's a divine way, and then there's a way that we use this for the wrong intent. We use this way of this manuscript for the wrong intent. How can you use scripture that tells you that a woman should be submissive to the man, and you force that on them and beat that on them because that's what you've been taught and that's what the scripture says, but then yet you don't follow the manuscript yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell a woman this is what you're supposed to do because the Bible said, and yet you as a man not doing what you're supposed to do because the Bible said. The manuscript only works when you're working it. See what I'm saying? If you're not abiding by it, you can't use the rules thereof. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes both ways. So for these men who's using scripture to keep their woman in place, you'll never hold them. You'll never hold them. It's going to always be by force. They ain't going to never submit to you because they can't respect somebody who's not willing to stand for something.
Yeah.
How can you be true to them when you can't even be true to the book? You know what I'm saying? But you want them to be true. Make it make sense. You know, in me following the book and with me putting God first, I don't worry about my woman. See what I'm saying? My woman ain't attracted to me because I'm the best looking person. Feel what I'm saying? My wife is attracted to me because of the character that I stand. My wife is attracted to me because of the relationship that I have with God. It has nothing to do with my money. It has nothing to do with, you know, with my looks. I mean, those are add-ons, you know. Those are add-ons. But the foundation is my relationship with God. That's what she respects. And when I'm true to that, then she know I can be true to her. Feel what I'm saying? So in that, she submits herself to me. Because I'm in line with something that she's interested in as well. See what I'm saying? So not only do I know my place, I don't have to tell her place. Because she has that she has a personal relationship. And see, with that in the midst of, I ain't got to tell her nothing. I don't have to force nothing because her first love is not me.
Yeah.
Her first love is God. And in pleasing God, she stands in place with me.
Yeah.
Vice, in pleasing God, I stand in place with her. Feel me? So that's what motivates us. This is what my wife submits to. And this is why I respect her. I always say a man don't need love. A woman needs love. And a man needs respect. That's why we cheat. Feel me? You can love a woman. I'm gonna let y'all in on some secret, ladies. You can love a man all you want to. But he gonna fall for that one that gives him respect. He gonna chase that one that motivates him, that makes him feel like a man. Love don't make a man feel like a man. Respect does. And the woman that respects a man motivates him to love the woman.
Yeah.
A man gonna always go with a woman that gives him respect. At the end of the day, that's just a little nugget for y'all.
That's what's up, man. Man, I got one more, man. We might have to break this down to our next segment next Wednesday, but I got to leave with this one right here because, you know, it's something, you know, we might have to get involved in more, but we going to go with tainted spirits out there, I'm going to say. When your spirit tainted out there and, you know, sometimes your spirit tainted, you're not looking at something from a clear point or something, or we have this tainted spirits of thinking that, you know what I'm saying, God will bless us if we pure-hearted or we pure-souled or we don't drink, we don't smoke, or we don't do none of these activities from a tainted spirit mindset. You know what I'm saying? Now, the tainted spirit, do you think it's real out there where you see some people overcome the tainted spirits for drinking alcohol or drugs or whatever? But what can you say about having a pure heart these days and a clear mind and actually being into the word, not being into the word and tainted too? Because sometimes we be want to serve God with a clear mind, a clear heart out there, but we be tainted. Same way we be stressing about we smoke weed or we drink or we do the other things or we have sex, whatever, and we gamble, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's tainted spirits here where compared to is you serving Christ with pure hearts and pure minds out there, no matter what color, no matter what religion, but it's a pure heart tainted from being tainted out there, because this is a big question out here. I be wanting to know this myself. Tainted spirits out there and people serving God with a clear mind and clear heart. What's your opinion? What's your take out there? We know it's going to tag on to the next show out there because people be want to know that too. But what can you say about that? Serving God with pure heart.
Another one of these misconception of Christianity, or how people perceive Christians. We look at people who claim to be Christians as supposedly supposed to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And then us as a people, or us in the world, we always look for differences. We always look for the negative thing. All right. So when you speak a thing, that thing is tested, right? So if you claim to be a Christian, all eyes are on you because you claim to be something that's supposed to be basically perfect in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But knowing that we're flesh, so therefore we're not going to be perfect. But people look for that imperfectness to disclaim you as a Christian. All right.
Yeah.
So watch this. There's such thing as curses. All right, let's put that out there. There's a such thing as curses. Before we come to declaring our life to God, be it whatever religion that you are, and whoever on here, I hope some people really tuning into this and share this part. Even though we claim and declare our life for God, there's things that we have done before that. All right. There are covenants that have been made before our covenant to God.
Yeah.
In the spiritual realm, that is. And when you make a covenant, it stands true. A covenant is eternal. It goes on. A covenant cannot be broken. You made a promise. You're going to be held to that promise. And sometimes, get this, please get this. Sometimes we make covenant with things that we don't even realize that we're making covenants with, which goes back into that protection within the Bible. There are certain guidelines and rules that we're told to follow to protect us from making covenants that we don't understand in the spiritual realm. Don't have sex before marriage. It's not the fact that God don't want you to have sex. He wants you to do it the right way so you don't make a covenant with a demon.
Yeah.
All right. It's so that if you do it in the right way, which is in a divine way, in the way that he has it set, you're doing it in a pure heart instead of just for your physical pleasure.
Yeah.
So anything that caters to the flesh caters to the enemy.
Yeah.
So when we're doing things for our flesh, we're willing to sacrifice our flesh, not for God. We're doing it for our self-pleasure. And guess who want those pleasures in the flesh? Demons who don't have flesh. All right. They want the sensation of something, of the gift that God has given you. So when we're drinking and we want to continuously get drunk, that's a curse. That's a demon. But we allowed it because we opened up that door. That's why it ain't the alcohol that I say is bad. That's why they call it spirit. It ain't the alcohol that's bad. It's the spirit that's within. When you're drinking alcohol, you have relaxed your mind that opens up doors and cracks for things to enter. You have given it permission, and you don't know you don't know if it's good or bad what's entering. So alcohol is a gateway. It's not good or bad. It's just a gateway for things to enter. And when you open up that gateway, when you're willingly giving yourself or giving your body something, you're sacrificing for that indulgence. And when you willingly indulge into things that you know are not of God, then you just open the door for a demon to enter. So you just made a covenant with a demon. All right. When you're sleeping out of wedlock, You're taking your demons and putting it inside of another person. Y'all interchanging demons. This real talk. Because you didn't do it in the way that is divine or in the intent or will of God. So if you're not doing it in the will of God, whose will are you doing it in?
Yeah.
There's only one other. A lot of people say they self, their own will. True. Which caters to what? The flesh. Which caters to what? The devil, the enemy. So what we're doing is we're taking our flesh and willingly saying, I'm not going to listen to what God said. I'm going to indulge in this fleshly thing because it feels good. In that feel good, you have just opened the door to the other side.
Yeah.
You opened yourself up to everybody that other person that you're with has been with outside of God's way. So when we do decide to take on and say that we want to turn our life around, we didn't use these drugs, we didn't shot needles, we didn't snorted coke, we didn't smoke this joint, and now that you say, well, look, I want to stop. You're God, right? You're God, right?
Yeah.
And yet you can't stop. Who's really the God?
Yeah.
The God is the demon that's within you that you don't even realize that's there. That's why you can't stop. You got something talking to you, telling you that, hey, you got to have it.
Yeah.
You have sacrificed your flesh and gave it over to the enemy. And then he's holding you to it now. You don't want the drug. The demon does. The demon wants
Yeah.
to feel the drug. The demon wants you to defile your flesh. The demon wants your head doing things that you normally don't do.
Yeah.
He wants you to defile yourself. He wants you to do things against God. And that's what we do when we take on these other substances. We defile ourselves at the end of the day. We think the darkest things. And then after we're ashamed.
Yeah.
That's slavery. You can't even
Yeah.
speak on the things that you just did. You've been enslaved. You're ashamed.
Yeah.
Shame is slavery. God tries to protect us from this. So now when you decide, hey, look, I want to do the right thing. I declare my life to God. Or I give my life to Jesus. And you start practicing these things, but then still find yourself falling short. That goes back to my friend Ra CNI. I'm just a filthy rag, right? Because we still have filth on us. We still have this remnants. Even though we're trying to go the right way, we made covenants before we made this covenant with God that we still got to stand on. We can't.
Yeah.
It has to be something greater than us, gods. It got to be something greater than us, self-proclaimed gods, that we have to call on to break this.
Yeah.
And it's the true God that breaks it. And that's how we know that there's a God, because when you get to a point of realizing that you can't do it yourself, but then something else removes it that's greater than you, that's God.
Yeah.
And then when it's removed, when you admit that you can't do it and yet it gets removed, then it's factual. It becomes a fact. Then you know that there's a God that exists and nobody can tell you no differently. That's how we build. This is why you can be a Christian and things don't go right in your life, because you still got to answer for the actions that you did before.
Yeah.
There's still a consequence. All right. There's still got to answer to it. It ain't just like that. You done did dirt all your life, and then all of a sudden you say, I changed my life for God, and you expect things to just go perfect for you. No. You got to cover all that dirt that you did. You got to answer for that.
Yeah.
First. So that's it, man. We make covenants with things and don't even realize that we're making covenants. You know what I'm saying? And when you know, and when you truly understand that, when it comes on you, you're able to accept it. This is what the Bible says, that you can have joy in every circumstance, because you know that you know that you know. I understand what's going on right now. When people saying, why, God, why this happening to me? It's because of what I just explained. And now that I explained it and you heard it, you should be good in that circumstance.
That's what's up, man. Renz Tee, man. South Arkansas Trail Talk, man. We gonna continue with that conversation right there next week because I want to get into, like I say, feeding them. You know what I'm saying? Even spirits from depression and anxiety out there. You feed them so long to where now you gotta have a power greater than within you to get over them humps sometime. And I see a lot of people get depressed around the holidays or get depressed when they missing their loved ones out there. So we gonna continue right there, man. Renz Tee, man. It's South Arkansas Trail Talk Wednesdays. Get all the answers you want out there. I'm gonna let them end with one more note out there, man. But it's a good game tonight, man. Brain food for sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you in out there, man. Give us a word before we get out of here.
Hey man, next week, coming on next Wednesday, I would love. I thought we would get to it tonight, but if it's okay with you, I would like to discuss this this new movement, this new movie that's out. God is a Woman, and I always think that the best understanding always comes from the author thereof. You know, that's the best perspective is the author's perspective. And I would love to have a guest speaker on if it's okay with you. I see he tapped in tonight. If we can have that discussion that we're supposed to be having tonight, if we can jump into that, think that's possible?
Yeah, we can jump into that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's going on, man. And, you know what I'm saying? We started off, but I could bring both of y'all on the screen and I can let y'all both answer questions. You know what I'm saying? Someone asks you, we could do it like that. It'd be way more entertainment. Then y'all can feed off what y'all saying. That way, you know what I'm saying? It could be a better sequence of what we saying. And, man, we all about uplifting and, you know what I'm saying, keeping something going and building, man, not tearing down, not being against each other. That's why I salute you, man. I'm glad you gave me an opportunity to work with me, you know what I'm saying, relate, you know what I'm saying, for sure. You know, and I'm glad you can relate to all sorts of life, walks of life, you know what I'm saying. I salute that out there, man. But we gonna definitely get that together, though, for sure.
Yes,
And
sir.
that way we can have a better dialogue about, you know what I'm saying, God as a woman and get it from both perspectives and have people have their own opinion out there, what they want to believe in out there. But, man, nice talking to you, man. I think you'll have me studying tonight a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, I salute everything you said, man. I'm sure getting to the covenant world out there because that's a big world out there, man. We gonna continue that, you know what I'm saying, next week with the anxieties and the depressions and suicides out there, man. Much love out there. Renz Tee, man, tune in sometime, man. Wednesday, 8 p.m., man. You might catch us on YouTube, Facebook, StreamYard. We here, man. We gonna move it all through the year if we can. But much love, man. Tune in sometime, y'all. South Arkansas Trail Talk. One, man. Yeah.